Okay, so we got to go ahead and talk about this whole thing going on with Iran, Israel, and the United States. And when I remember a few days ago, I got this news that we bombed Iran. I thought I was having my leg pulled on some late April Fool's joke. Turns out it actually happened.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the three key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There's never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, after all this inspired mass protests across the country in different parts of the world. Putin disavowed the attacks on Iran, calling it unjustified. Quote, the absolutely unprovoked aggression against Iran has no basis and no justification. For our part, we are making efforts to assist the Iranian people. Later adding, quote, extra regional powers are also being drawn into the conflict. All this brings the world to a very dangerous line. Even though, interestingly enough, they have been supporting Iran for years, even have a strategic partnership for at least 20 years, supposedly. Interestingly enough, they don't like the idea of them having nuclear weapons either, but former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, who is an ally to Putin, did line this out saying, quote, the enrichment of nuclear material and how we can say it outright, the future production of nuclear weapons will continue. A number of countries are ready to directly supply Iran with their own nuclear warheads. Trump also hinted at a possibility of regime change in Iran, where even people like Marco Rubio said this, quote, it was not an attack on Iran. It was not an attack on the Iranian people. It wasn't a regime change move. But interestingly enough, Trump did put this out on social media saying, quote, if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? According to the White House press secretary, Carolyn Levitt, said that Trump was just simply raising a question, and I think that many people around the world were asking if the Iranian regime refuses to give up their nuclear program or engage in talks. We just took out their nuclear program on Saturday night, as you all know. But if they refuse to engage in diplomacy moving forward, why shouldn't the Iranian people rise up against this brutal terrorist regime? That's a question the president raised last night, but as far as our military posture, it has not been changed. Now, this whole attack has drawn a lot of ire, a lot of criticism. People even have criticized Israel for attacking Iran in the first place, and with the help of the United States bombing nuclear sites. Honestly, I look at this whole thing as somewhat justifiable because we know or a lot of people know what they plan on doing with nukes once they have them. Now, this idea of, oh, we want to use nukes to defend ourselves, I think it's really worn out, and there's been so many movies come out to depict the effects of nuclear war. I don't know why anybody would still want to lead or want to even use them in any way, knowing the domino effect it would have on the world. Unless you're somebody who's very rich, you're going to be hiding in a bunker for God knows how long, for how many years, probably have enough supplies to last you a lifetime down there, while the world is either dead and gone, or its people are starving and dying due to radiation and all the other stuff that people don't want to see. And every time something like this happens, people always think we're headed to another war, World War III, like people do the whole fear mongering. And look, we don't know if it's going to lead to that. And also realize this, even though that the Iranians are kind of looking at the Chinese and Russians side-eyed right now with their ongoing conflict against Israel, they have their support. It would kind of draw up the idea, what would it take for either one of those countries to really decide, oh, we want to go into war or whatever? I guess it just depends on how far the United States is willing to go. And I've seen a lot of people try to underestimate Iran, and I'm here to tell y'all, if you do not learn from your history, you will be doomed to repeat it. Because how many times has the United States thought they were too big for their own britches to realize that, hey, maybe we're underestimating this imposing force? Just look no further than before the events of Pearl Harbor. The United States underestimated the Japanese, and look what happened. You fast forward many years later, the United States outright underestimated the Viet Cong. You even fast forward to the Iraqi-Afghanistan war. We underestimated the Taliban and Al Qaeda because they were fucking up our troops over there. I don't know how many people are willing to admit that. And the idea of regime change, I don't know which direction he's going to end up going with that. Like, I don't think he outright means, oh, we're going to put boots on the ground and enforce a democracy regime change. If people want regime change over there, they got to take it up with their own people. They can't just, it can't be a thing where we get drawn into that. Because how many times have we gotten involved in somebody else's business, even though, yes, there is interest over there? But I do think we have to let people fight their own battles at some point. Not every country in the world has to be leading with some type of democracy, because that would damn near come off as some type of weird one world order, unless if that's what everybody wants. But still, every country in the world cannot abide by the same rules that we do. Like, if that's the case, then I would challenge any gung-ho American to go over to places like India and other places in that region that eat dogs and cats and put boots on the ground over there and tell them, don't do that and abide by American Western traditions. No. And besides, regime change turned out very fine in Iraq and Afghanistan after all, didn't it? Oh, and let's not mention Egypt. Taking out Muammar Gaddafi and what's happened since. That whole country's been in turmoil. The only country that we didn't get involved in that went to hell in a handbasket was Syria. All in all, I don't know what's about to happen, even though I am on the side that I can absolutely justify these attacks on the nuclear bases. But we can't just go around thinking just because we're big, badass America that nobody can take us out. It's just like that one boxer who would be undefeated, 100-0. He may think nobody can knock him out until he gets knocked out that one time. He gets humbled. You always have to expect the unexpected when it comes to stuff like this. You can't underestimate people like them. You can't underestimate different countries because they may just well end up surprising you. Always remember this: speak softly, carry a big stick, and if you don't learn from the past, you'll be doomed to repeat it. But with that being said, y'all let me know what you think about this wild mess. I try not to talk about politics on this channel that much, but I felt like this was something that had to be discussed because so many people either fear-mongering or thinking that we can't get knocked out or underestimating Iran. We don't know what them people are capable of for real. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.